Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to another edition of Religious Vocation Digest. I believe you are doing well and you have enjoyed our previous edition of the program. Today, I'm here with four sisters from different congregations. They are here to share their kind of vocation story with us. That is their experience in the religious life. So, in case you are moving out or in case you need somebody to watch this program, kindly tell the person to join us on Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, YouTube, Cafdil Edu, and let's do this discussion together. You know, I usually allow my guests to do introduction of themselves. For beginning from my immediate left, sister will start with the introduction for us.
Hello, viewers. My name is Sister Gertrude Benye Mensah, and I belong to the congregation of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny.
And I am Sister Christina Akweso HSCJ. I belong to the congregation of the Handmaids of the Holy Child Jesus.
I'm Sister Mary Stella Dakwa Yabua. I belong to the Sisters of Handmaids of the Divine Redeemer of Accra.
Mary Magdalene Samson Kofi, RVM, belonging to the congregation of Religious of the Virgin Mary.
Okay. And I am also Sister Marian Hagar Griffin, that's it, from the Society of the Infant Jesus. I will be your host. Sisters, you are most welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So if you're just joining us, this is Cafdil TV and you are watching Religious Vocation Digest. Beginning from you, sister, how many years have you been in the religious life and what kind of apostolate have you been engaged in so far?
Actually, today marks my 18th anniversary in the religious life.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. Congrats. Thank you. And I'm a secretary to Most Reverend Peter Bekwetria, Catholic Bishop of Goso.
Is that what you've been doing so far when you became a religious?
Yes, please.
Okay, sister. How many years are you in the religious life?
Yes, 19 years.
Mhm.
And at the moment, I'm working as an administrator in one of our institutions called Mother Providential International School. It's in Accra.
Okay. Sister.
So, I am in my 23rd year. Yeah, so September 15th will be 23 years when I did my first profession.
Okay.
So actually, I'm a trained nurse, but at the moment, my congregation asked me to journey with the young girls who want to be sisters.
Okay.
So I'm the novice directress
Oh,
of the Handmaids of the Holy Child Jesus.
okay. Sister.
Yes. It's been 15 years, and I've worked mostly in Sierra Leone. At the moment, I'm in Obuasi, which
Okay.
is Ashanti region,
Okay.
and heading a school called St. Philip's Catholic School.
Okay. Yeah. Sister Christina, let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Since you are into formation,
Yeah.
what has been your greatest challenge as a formator?
Yeah. So I would say my greatest challenge has been at the moment when we talk of home, it's not like as before. To say before, when a child grows up, it's homework and domestic duties, going to school and coming back. But now, what you can say is many people go to school, they only come home, and they go back for classes, even during vacations. So at times you come across young ladies who want to join the life, and there are some basic things that are still lacking due to this reason. So when they come, you don't take it that they know. So you have to teach almost everything, even how to wash, the
Wow.
basic things. Yeah.
they were supposed to acquire from home.
Yeah.
They
there are
have to
some-
be taught in the
Sometimes
convent.
you have to.
Okay.
You can't take it for granted.
Okay. Sister, IVM, share with us the history of your congregation.
So, the founders is by name Mother Ignacia the Espiritu Santo, and she's from Philippines.
Okay.
So, at the age of 21, actually, there were four siblings, but unfortunately, she was the only survivor. And at the age of 21 years, the parents, of course, wanted her to marry, but she was not into marriage. So she asked permission to have a retreat, which she did for 8 days. And after the retreat, she had a desire to serve God in other way, not for marriage. So, and fortunately for her, her father was a Chinese and the mother a Filipino. So she has the education because the father is a Chinese. Because that time the Chinese were the colonial masters.
Okay.
So it's only the Chinese who has the opportunity to go to school. So when she had the opportunity and when she came back, leaving the house, she only left the house with a pair of scissors, needle, and a thread. Since those there cannot have the access to education, she tried to gather the children to teach them small, and also to empower the women with the little skills that she had. And again, through that, it was not her intention to start something like a congregation, but her way of life attracted other women, and they came to join her in teaching the children, something like that. So from there, then the congregation, I would say, was born.
Okay, so she wasn't a religious before she
No.
started the congregation. Okay.
So in 1684, the congregation was recognized, and that's how it started.
Okay. So where can we find you in Ghana?
In Ghana, we are in Kumasi, Accra, and Goso.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
Let's know your history.
As I said earlier on, I belong to Handmaids of the Divine Redeemer. Bishop Oliver Bowers, now he's late,
Okay.
so we call his name late Joseph Oliver Bowers. He was SVD,
Okay.
and he came to Ghana to work in the diocese of Archdiocese of Accra.
Okay.
So when he came, by then we have Kofurudua Diocese, Nkokum Vicariate, and Accra Archdiocese as diocese he was working by then.
Okay.
Then he got an interest for Kobos. He noticed that the ladies don't go to school. They don't have interest to go to school. So what he planned was, or what he thought of, these people, when they reach a certain age, they go for green patches by traveling to other countries,
Okay.
like Cote d'Ivoire. They call it Abidjan.
Mm.
And so when they return, they are not fit to live in a society.
Why?
Yeah, they sell themselves.
Okay.
Excuse me to say, they get infection of
HIV.
HIV/AIDS. So when they reach such a certain age, the person lost her life.
Okay.
Then Bishop Oliver Bowers said, No, I can't sit down and then see the ladies without
Education.
education. So what he did was, or what he thought was, just to establish school. That is St. Anne's Vocational School, so that he can get some sisters to take over. Then he established this congregation in the year 2nd February 1957. So this year is our independence.
So,
So-
in Ghana, okay, it's an indigenous congregation,
Yes,
right?
it is.
So where are you located?
We have 4 areas. We are working in Accra Archdiocese, Nkokum, Bikabit. We are also working in Takrady Diocese, Kofurudua Diocese. And then when you go to Kumasi, we have some of our sisters working there.
Okay.
And now we have some of our sisters to working in United States of America.
Okay.
Jamaica works in this.
Okay.
And then we have some of our sisters working in New York.
What is your main apostolate? I know each congregation has an apostolate, then maybe as they moved on, others came in. So initially, what was your main apostolate?
Initially, I was working in St. Paul's Catholic Seminary as a secretary for 10 good years. We have some of our sisters sewing vestments, sewing habits, and other church linens.
Okay.
Some of our sisters too are nurses. We take care of the orphanage, taking care of the children as well as the aged. We have other sisters who are also working as a secretary, as I was doing. And then we have teachers and so on.
Thank you very much, Sister. Sister Christina.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the history of our congregation. So ours was
In fact, when Sister finish, I'll make a confession.
Eh,
Okay, so let's hear
were
you.
you their aspirant? Were you an aspirant to HDL?
No, Sister, you finish.
Okay. So I am an HSCJ started by an Irish sister of charity. So she was already in a congregation, and in their congregation, one of their charism was to work in Africa, to go on mission. But as at then, nobody had gone on mission because they used to term Africa as the white man's grave, because most of them who came used to be infested by malaria and they died. So nobody was actually willing to come until one Bishop James Shanahan, who was working in Nigeria, seeing how the people, especially the girls and the women, were left unattended to, send the invitation to those sisters if they could let somebody come to Africa and help. And it was a big issue because they were afraid and scared to come.
Because
But-
they are going to die
They were afraid to die,
like rats.
you see. So this our foundress, she had this vocation and something she loved and cherished, to be on the missions. So when she heard it, she was happy. So many people opted to come to Africa. But along the way, they seek for advice, those who were having people in Africa. And most of the time, they were discouraged to come to Africa, knowing what was happening. So many of them dropped. But our foundress kept on till they had to send the matter to their chapter. At the end of the chapter, they voted, and what came up was that they should not come. But this sister was dying inside. So it got to a time she had to write to Rome. And she got the dispensation.
Okay.
And she sent the matter to her congregation that this is what, and they knew about it. So at the end, they allowed her to come. So she came to Nigeria. When she came, she really saw that the work was great. There was many schools that were started by congregations, but they were collapsing. So they handed these schools over to her, and she started with teaching those who were sick. She was treating them. Actually, she was a woman of what do you call it? Doing everything. She was an
A
architecture.
coat with many colors.
As it has many terms. She was doing everything. So the way she was dedicated, even without the language, she could get some girls, she would teach in the room. Then during the day, they would become teachers in the classes.
Okay.
So some of these girls got interested. So they went to her that they would like to be like her. So it was never her dream to start a congregation.
Okay.
So history tells us that 6 of these ladies wanted to join. So she started teaching them. So it got to a time she had to go back. So she left. Then as she went back, these girls continued.
Okay.
So they have to meet the bishop to look for somebody for them. So the bishop contacted the Sisters of the Holy Child Jesus. So they came in to form our foundation members. There were 4. Actually, there were 6, but 2 of them, the Bishop Charles Hiri also started the congregation. So 2 of them went there, but these 4 said for them, they will remain Charles Walker's daughters.
Okay.
So they remained. So that was how the congregation started. So our founders herself did not even know that these girls were still there until when the congregation became a congregation. They later went to look for her.
Wow.
Yeah, because she didn't have any contact with them at
Yeah,
all. So
yeah.
this is how great our foundation members were.
Right.
And we always thank them for that bravery and that determination.
Okay. Thank you, sister. So when we talk of HACJ sisters,
Yeah.
what apostolates are you engaged in?
So as I said in passing, our founders already was doing many things.
Okay.
So when you come to us, you see teachers, medical workers, social workers, catechetical, pastoral, and we move with the signs of time. So as the years goes by, when there's a need, always we get people to step in to fit in. And we have sisters all over. It started in Africa, but from beginning already they were international, because there was a sister from Cameroon,
Okay.
Nigeria, some were from south, some were from the central and the northern. So it has gone on till now. And now we are in many African countries. Yeah, Ghana, Togo, Nigeria, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Tanzania, etc. And we are also in Europe, America, USA, England, Italy, yeah, and many other parts of the world.
Okay.
We hope to spread more.
Okay. That's nice. Thank you, sister.
Yeah, thank you too.
So about the confession, I don't
Yeah.
know. Something within me is telling me I shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
I'll make that confession when we are off air. So if you're just joining us, this is Cafdil TV and you are watching Religious Vocation Digest. My guests are here. They are sharing beautiful stories of their congregational histories. Sister Gertrude, let's hear your history.
Okay, thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, I belong to the Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny. The congregation was started by a woman called Anne-Marie Javoué, a French woman. As a little girl, She was very energetic, and she grew up during the French Revolution time, and they were not allowed to attend church. So, in her own way to help, she would secretly sneak some of the priests and some papers into his father's basement for them to celebrate the mass, and then she'd be the watchwoman. So she had that skills in her to do good. Later on, when she grew a little bit older, she decided to become a religious. She told the father, whom of course wasn't happy, and she persisted. Later, the father allowed her to go. She went in, but she couldn't survive. She said there was something more that she needed to do. And whatever it wasn't where she was at the moment. So she came out. She came out and she started doing her own teachings with young girls and all that. And later on, when they saw the work that she was doing, she started a certain group within her locality, organizing young girls, then training them to become religious at that point. And when they saw the work they were doing, those times it was the slave trade time. So the governors invited her to come to Africa. So in 1822, she traveled to Senegal, and seeing how the slaves were treated, she was disheartened. So Africa, from the onset, was on her heart. And she gave the very best by being there with them, caring for the sick among them, treating them, and then helping them even to farm, and then to do the basic things, sewing, you can think of whatever. She was there to support. The same way from there, the governor invited her also to come and work again in the Sierra Leone. Gambia and Senegal are the same. So if I mention Gambia, it means Senegal as well. So she came to Sierra Leone and she did the same thing, caring for the sick, even though she wasn't a medical personnel, but she sacrificed her time there in caring. One of the things that she did at that time also was buying the slaves and freeing them. So in history, we say that she's the liberator of slaves, because she couldn't understand why they would capture a young lady or a woman who would perhaps have children. So she can buy them and then she would free them. It became part of her ministry. She went back again and continued. The congregation began to grow. Later on in years, her own sisters also joined. So her own sisters, biological sisters, were the foundation members together with her in building up or making up the congregation. After that, the congregation has grown vastly. I think we are almost in all the continents. The sisters at the moment are over 2,000. And Africa is growing well. In Ghana, we just came to Ghana 35 years ago. This year, October will be 35 years in Ghana. Yes, she couldn't come to Ghana because Sir Charles McCarthy, the then governor, had invited her. When she was ready to come in, he was killed. And because of that, she couldn't come to Ghana in those days. So knowing her passion to come to Ghana, it came late, but it said it's better late than never.
Mm-hmm.
So we came. Basically, Clooney Sisters are into education. If you travel all over the world, anybody who knows Clooney Sisters will tell you, oh, they are great at education. Yes, that's what we do. Education is the most of our apostolates. Then we have health also. Some of our sisters are health personnel. We have some also who are into social works and many others. So basically, that is what Clooney Sisters do.
I have a sister in your a friend in your congregation.
Okay.
Sister Vivian.
Sister Vivian.
She's in the Gambia now, right?
Yes, Sister Vivian is in the Gambia at the moment.
She's my very good friend. We met at a ISEC program.
Okay.
Sister Gertrude, still on you.
Okay.
You see, when you go for vocation promotion, there is this usual question that young ladies ask: how would I know that I am called?
Okay.
Share with us your vocation story, how you received the call, how the direction went, and how you were able to respond to it. So that maybe those watching, somebody has similar feeling as you got, but is not too sure whether it's a call or a missed call.
I like that. Whether it's a call or a missed call. Okay, thank you. My vocation story. Each time someone asks me of my vocation story, I'm like, okay, I have to think to know. Because it came as a surprise. I never thought of becoming a sister in any way. I was living my life as an ordinary girl, just doing what I can do. And then all of a sudden, I just had that desire in me, that strong passion in me to become a religious. And I didn't know what to do with it. It's as if something had just possessed me at that point. That was before I finished my secondary education. I was like, what is happening to me? All this I've never thought of this. But this is a case whereby I feel like I am drawn to go into religious life. I didn't really know much about religious life, even though I've known some sisters. Sister Mary Madeleine's congregation, they were in my place.
Okay.
So my father and their sister were very close. We could visit them. And I used to visit one of their sisters, Sister Vidalina. But even at that point, I hadn't gotten that desire to become a religious. So when I started feeling that, I was feeling very uncomfortable and I didn't have anyone whom I could talk to, I just called my dad. It was this space to space they have here. It went and I took the phone and I called my dad and I was like, the first sentence I said out was, I want to become a sister. And my dad was quiet on the phone. And he took a deep breath and then he asked me, have you told anybody? And I said no. It was when he asked me, have you told anybody, I became conscious of what I had done. And I'm like, Gertrude, what did you do? You know? So he came in and then he advised me to pray about it and to keep it to myself. That's what he mentioned at the very first. He said, keep it to yourself and pray about it. So I prayed about it. Then the next time I went home, he gave me a very long list of congregations. I said, wow. I think I've committed myself. I had to fulfill it. So I visited one or two. And among the list he gave, Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny wasn't part of it. And a friend of mine also gave me Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny. So I visited them. When I visited them, for whatever reason, I felt like that was where I belong. And we just connected. I didn't do much. And I just had to follow them, visit them once in a while, know their life. And I felt called to that congregation. And then I stayed on. So my vocation wasn't like those who had a dream, had a desire when they were young. I didn't actually understand until I entered and I realized that was the call of God really gingering me to take an action. And I'm happy I did because I've really enjoyed the life. Yes.
What was your shock during your formation times?
Formation. At that point, I think I took everything to be okay. My shocks were that at the very initial stage, I thought everything with their sisters should be very perfect. Very, very perfect because they are godly people. So in my own thinking, if I saw someone doing something that wasn't the way I expected, or even saying a word I didn't expect, I got shocked because I was like, hey, sister is doing this, sister is saying that. Maybe they are making jokes, but I wasn't expecting them to be making that kind of jokes. And yeah, these were the shocking moments. But as I went through it, I realized that yes, they are human. They are not trying to live perfect life here and then portray a different life out there. They were just themselves. And so that shock didn't really come on board. Personally, my formation wasn't really tough like that. It was tough in some extent, but if I look at those who had tough formation, I don't think I'm one of them.
Let's hear your vocation story. How did it come? Or was it that of Isaac?
So that was one fateful Sunday. Actually, I belong to charismatic and also with the singing ministry. So that Sunday we were the ones leading the church in songs. So we dressed waiting for it's an outstation. So waiting for the priest. Here he comes with one sister wearing white like this with a black veil. So as soon as I saw her, I told my friends, me, I'll be a sister. In fact, that day they laugh at me because you just saw a sister and you want to be a sister. You think it's easy. So we started the mass and the readings was about the laborers are few, but the work
Harvest
is
plenty.
In fact, I was touched by that word. So after the mass, I approached the sister and she gave me one of their brochure. And at the back of the brochure, a beautiful lady like me was there, and it was the inscription on the top was, "Lord, what do you want of me?" In fact, adding to the one during the mass I was like, and that day, none of my family members were at church. Some travel. My father was sick, so when I went home, then I just went and said, "Dada, I will be a sister." So I gave him the brochure. He didn't say anything. He collected it. So I continued with whatever I was doing. By then, he was working at Takwa. So he leaves on Sunday, then comes back on Friday, weekends. Not knowing when he went to his workplace, he called the number on the brochure and had whatever discussion with the sister. So the following weekend when he came, then he said, I talked to the sister and the sister said they will come and visit. Wow. But at first when I gave and he didn't say anything, I was like, maybe he doesn't want me to go.
Yeah.
Because somehow she's like, he has the final say. If he says yes, he will support you anyway. If he says no, so I was really struggling to see the response. So when he came and he said that, I was like, oh, so that's good news. And the sister came, visited. Then he invited me to come to visit them. I visited, I did the assessment, and here I am. So that's my story.
Thanks be to God. How was your formation like?
It was nice, but the experience was nice. It helped me a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, I was that type. I'm very choosy. The food and in the house.
Then you really had a tough time.
But because I want to be a sister, you see, everything is okay.
Okay.
Though I was struggling with
You
them,
managed.
but I did. Because if they ask me to go, I won't be a sister. So I have to. Especially with the food. And you see, it's an international congregation. And the other thing is, whatever is there, that's all we are. All of us are eating. You cannot go and cook. Unlike in the house, I will tell my mother, I don't like this, and she will try to prepare something for you. Yeah. And also to get to know that they do everything themselves. Cleaning, cooking, everything. I was like, wow, that formation I have, at least it will help me here. So it was cool. The challenges were there, but I mean, with my motivation of becoming, I don't know what it actually. And you see, one thing was, I thought after the formation, I'll go back to my
normal self.
parish.
Oh,
I thought it's like a school.
You go home.
So after years,
For
after you
you.
go back, you go back to your maybe your parish and you try to do what? No, it was one of the classic days.
Primary school. Until birthday.
Hey, no
graduation.
turning back.
You are there for
my.
good.
Yeah, but it was okay. I mean, it was challenging, but at the end of the end of it all, there was this kind of joy. So we moved, and my batchmate, we were 4.
Okay.
So we support each other. Sometimes you cry, you want to pack, you pack, and another one will come. Don't go. Then you put it down.
Another time she will pack. And you
Then
just
you
want to go. You see, what I've realized in religious life is it all boils down to obedience.
That is it.
If you do obey, you'll be happy.
Mm.
If you want to move left when everybody is asked to move right, that is when you'll be having issues. But if you move
With them.
with them, you are safe. So, sister, I reserved you to be
Okay.
the last person to speak about this because you are a formator.
Okay.
How did you receive your call to be a religious?
Let me start with this. Since you mentioned I'm a formator, there was a time as parents came, so I was asking them, "Are you called?" They say yes. I said, "What if it's not called? Maybe you just think you have been called." Then one of them said, "Sister," I said, "maybe it's even a missed call." Or sister, missed call cry, my friend about. Miss call cry, my friend back. Yo, my call. I was just growing up. I was a choirista. I go to church. My home is a convent on itself because my parents are so Catholics than even the church. So you can't say I won't go for mass. It's not said in our house. Doesn't matter whether weekday or Sunday. So every day we go for mass. Then one Sunday I went for mass, and before sometimes some sisters will visit. Whenever I see them, I'll be looking at them like this. I remember one time one sister came. I don't know what was her problem, and that has informed me to be always careful. During consecration, the sister sat down. Maybe she was having knee problem or what, even stomach upset. Poor girl didn't know. So she sat down. My mother asked me to kneel. I said, "Can't she see that the sister is sitting down?" So those attraction were there. Like my focus, whenever I see a sister, that becomes my focus for that day. So that was in me. I never told anybody. Till one day I approached one of the sisters that I want to be a sister. So they gave me the procedure, what to do and what not to do, and even invited me. So I was once for your aspirant retreat too in Agomenya. I went once. Yeah. Then what's the final one? One sister just visited the mother. That was Janet Kwache. Yeah. And her mother is from Asamankisi. And when I saw her, immediately after mass, I went there again. I just said, I want to be a sister. So she gave me the address of the vocation directress, and I wrote. All this while I didn't tell any of my people. I wrote to them, and I didn't get any reply. So me, I was there. I completed secondary school, and then I had an admission to go to the nursing training. So I went for the interview. I started buying my things. Then it was Saturday. I was leaving on Wednesday to go to school. Then this Saturday, one evening, one sister, I was there when a Maseva came in and said, with a Reverend sister, "Hey." So they came. And when they came, she said, "Look, are you Christy?" I said, "Yes." We are going to start aspirant. We are taking new aspirants. So you wrote to us that you want to join. So we have come if you are ready. So I said, oh, I'm going to school. I have gotten, so I brought my admission letter and the things I have bought, everything. So she said, oh, even if you come after school, you can still go to your school. So if only you are ready, you can come. So she finished everything and left. After she was gone, now the confusion started. It dawned on me that there were different congregations. Then one of Sister Angela Dasino also called me. Christy, you have completed school. Can you now come? Hey God. So where should I go? Then at home too, some of my brothers said I should go to school. So now I realized I have to pray. So I started praying, and the confusion of the congregation, it was not an easy time for me. So at the end, the sister said I could visit. So I visited the sister. And when I went there, in fact, I felt at home, the HSC days.
Yeah.
So that's why at the end, I decided to
So you didn't go to school again?
HSC days. Oh, my sister. The things I bought to go to school, I carried those things to the convent.
What happened to the provisions?
Oh, I ate them.
Congratulations.
I ate them.
For the same amount.
But it was not easy. It was not an easy thing. Because that confusion, it was a hectic time for me.
Yeah. If you have the desire to join the religious life, don't hesitate to contact any of the congregations you see here. You never know. Sister Christy,
Yeah.
how was your formation like?
Mhm.
Compare it with now the people you are forming.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I said some in person
Yeah.
about the way of life now. My formation time was nice because we had sisters from Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana. So we're 3 groups. And one good thing was our directress, Sister Perpetua, was a very tough woman. So knowing how she was, the sister we were with, be people from Nigeria, Kenya, that was where the problem was. Not so much from the directress. At times they will say, you are like this, you are like this. So that inner was the challenge. But the formation itself, when the diversity come together, at times we portray our culture, we will dance, we try to eat every other's food, give the different cultures. So we learned a lot in formation because of this diversity. And it has helped me now to adjust. Like now I don't have problem. Whatever I learned, I can easily mix up.
Yeah.
It has really helped me. And another thing that helped me was, since I packed my things to go to convent, there was never a day I thought that I would not make it.
Okay.
So I went, and for me, I have never packed to come home. I went and I was ready for everything. And that helped me. I remember one time my directress called me. I didn't know I have done something wrong. So I was jumping on the corridor. So I didn't know she was looking at me. When I got there, she looked at me. They say, I'm calling you. Don't know why I'm calling you. And you will not even...
You're not bothered.
I was not bothered. So that's how I took my formation, and it really helped me. I didn't have any difficulty at all.
Your generation of religious
Okay.
and what you see today, or what you see in today's religious, that is the younger generation. What would you say about the two?
A very big question.
Any changes?
Yes. I guess maybe those days we were a bit naive, if I'm allowed to use that
Sure.
word. Because
Excuse me to chip in this. There's this thing we used to say that your generation was Benjamin Breno. Yeah.
So if we let's for instance, Growing up, I didn't know so much, even though there were lots of things happening about around me. But all I cared was about my family, church, my family, church, school. That's all. And any other person who tried to make any advances at me, will cry. In fact, they kind of, actually, I'm not a soft person. I fight with boys, you know. I fight with boys, and I attended a boys' school. I attended a technical school.
Okay.
All boys. I was the only girl in their midst, so you can imagine. We'll fight, we argue, and then we move on. But then we had that discipline and that values within that motivated us to become who we wanted to be. Today, there is a lot of distraction.
Yeah.
And if you approach a young girl coming up, religious life is not in their book of life. No. They don't want it. In fact, they don't even know what it is. They look at you and then they stare at you as if you have two heads. And they are wondering, they don't even want to come around and even ask. But then they are just observing you from afar. And you just have to walk to them and say, hello, how are you? And then they'll be like, I'm fine, sister. But then that desire and that kind of motivation and the values that we used to have to keep us going, I think it's now lacking. One, either because they are so distracted with the phones, the social media, this and that. Two could be that from the family. You know, if you look at social media now, I don't think we can blame the young girls. Because their parents now are those who are, let's say, the slay queens and the slay kings, if I may say. If you have a slay king, I don't know. But you see the life that their parents are portraying out there. And we can't expect so much from the young girls. So all that I'm saying is that the world is becoming a very challenging one, that God is being put aside. God is put aside totally. That when a young girl wakes up, all I think about is my phone, my friends, my phone, my friends. They're not thinking about God. They're not thinking about helping somebody in need. They're not thinking about that. So it's difficult. So when someone comes into the congregation now, there is a lot of work to let the person come to that awareness that there is something beautiful in the person that individual will have to bring out to help people. When they come, there is a lot of work to guide the person to know what is happening in their life, what is deep within that is being hidden. You have to help the person to unveil it and unravel it. Then the person become conscious of it in order to become not a perfect, but a good religious. So there is a lot of work now than before, in my own point of view. So that's what I'll say.
Thank you, sister. Novice mistress.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing I would say. The distraction in the world today is so high. And I've come across people who reject this call just because you tell them that for a while you have to keep your phone aside.
Yeah.
Just because of that.
Yeah.
Because they have become so attached to the phone so much, or the social media so much, to say that break away for just a month. Some people say if a whole day you tell them not to touch their phone, that is like committing a crime. So that's the world today is so distracted that to get people to put a halt to some of the things and face a life in the religious life, as I would say, a retreat for some time is something that is difficult in our world today because of where technology has taken us, even though it's very good. But to keep it aside for some time, that is now the challenge of many people, even to answer their call or not even hear the call because they are always distracted.
Yeah.
Always
No
distracted.
silence.
Yeah, that inner silence to hear the desire to feel. And I think it's not even just in the religious life. There are some people who make so many wrong decisions just because this awareness getting in touch with who they are to make decision for themselves. They are just following the crowd.
Yeah.
So apart from deciding for the religious life, even some people are just floating in the world like that because of these distractions in the world. Yeah. And also marriage. Some will ask, does it mean you will not marry? Uh,
Give children.
children? These are things that
Accent.
preventing some people answering the call today. Mm. And sometimes the people are willing, but maybe the family prevents it.
Yeah.
Oh, you are the only daughter. My mother said, "Ke so do fifi." And so, so like the last born, you are supposed to be in the house, not to leave. So these ones are all parts of the things preventing people from doing the religious life today.
But funny enough, a lot of people use that one as an excuse.
Yeah,
They use
it's
family as an excuse. Sometimes it's never true that the family is against it. Yes. Sometimes it's a way to tell you that we are not interested. Or I'm not interested. And then they will use the family as a care of. Say, my dad does not support it.
Oh, my
My
mom.
mom is not in favor of it. And then as a sister, what can you do? You can't force it. If the parents says no, they says no. So sometimes also it's mere excuse.
Yeah.
But because we've had few challenges with that, and you just have to talk to the individual well, then explain. Sometimes when you go to the family, you don't even know what is happening. They have not even spoken it to them,
Yeah.
and they don't know that their child has
that
that
interest.
interest. So it's a bit dicey.
Yeah. Speak to the heart of my cherished viewers. Why the church still needs people to continue the mission of the church. Starting from you, Sister Gertrude.
Okay. To start with, I'll say that there is no easy life out there. No matter your vocation, whether it's a priestly vocation, religious, married, single, they are all difficult. They come with challenges. Becoming a sister, sometimes when they see you as so nice like that. A lot of people think that we don't do anything. All we do is to pray and water flowers, and then you go to bed, we eat. No, we do more than that. We do more than that. We just don't water flowers and sleep and eat, and then that is it. It's a call, and the work of God needs to be carried on. I will entreat my dear younger sisters that God is calling each and every one. You just have to listen and know where He is calling you to. Know what is within you. And just like what we are saying, if you don't really have that time with God, it will be difficult to hear the word of God and hear His voice calling you. It doesn't mean that because God is calling you, it's not come with challenges. It will. I'm sure we've shared our stories with you, and you know where our challenges came from. I forgot to say when you mentioned about the challenges in the Gambia. I think that was the worst of all. A Sunday morning, when you had just gone immediately, you were asked to clean the piggery. What a shock. Piggery? And as you enter, the aroma that meets you, in fact, you go crazy with it. You see. So every life is difficult. It's all about your motivation, your determination, your commitment, and then what drives you. If it is God that drives you, no matter who the person is, whether the person is your mistress, the person is whoever, even the Pope, cannot change it. You have to be determined and convinced that this is what I'm going for, and I am here because of God. Therefore, if God does not push me out, nobody can push me out. As I am convinced that except God tells me, Getty, hold me my hand by force, Getty, let's go, then maybe I'll go with Him. But if not, I am convinced this is my life. So come and let's do the work of God. It's fun and it's fulfilling.
Thank you, Sister. Sister Christy.
Yeah. So, my dear people out there, don't get confused when people say if you join religious life, you will not give birth, you will not do this. Those ones are just uh, by the way. There's fulfillment. As Sister Getru just ended, there's nothing like doing what God has called you for. That should be the focus. Every other thing should be secondary. So always pray to know why God created you. God created each person with a task. So our focus should be each day pray to know why did God created me and what for, and let God direct you to make a decision. Even the man you marry, your profession, before you even think of joining the religious life, there's need to know why God created you. And if you are able to get it right, no matter the challenge one will come across, God knows, because He prepares the way before putting you there. He will take you through. It's a very enjoyable life, apart from those tiny things. If only it's your vocation, God see you through. So that's just the summary of what I will say. And God will do it. So come, we need people to work in the Lord's vineyard. We need people to challenge the world. It's interesting to see that in our world today, there are people who still opt to forgo marriage, forgo material things, and decide for God, and still find joy and fulfillment. It frees you to befriend many people, to work for many people, and to bring the gospel to where it's needed by our life. So let many people come and join so that we bring God's kingdom to many who need our help. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister. Sister Mary.
Hello, my dear sisters and brothers out there. Yeah, this is the calling from God, and the church needs you all, especially those who have the desire. We have so many calls, but if you feel that you are being called into priesthood life or religious life, don't hesitate and don't give up. If you are not sure, pray. Prayer is a key to everything. Don't depend on somebody. Just depend on God. With God, things are possible.
Thank you, Sister. Last but not the least.
So, beloved out there, as in my vocation story I shared with you, the laborer is great. The harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Why don't you come and join us? Don't forget the mandate in which Christ Himself gave us to go out and make disciples for Him. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister. I believe you've truly enjoyed today's discussion and you are fulfilled. Since all my guests are fulfilled as religious, I know you are also fulfilled. I'll continue to say, if you have the desire to be a religious and you are confused, please contact your parish priest. Also, you can also pick the numbers on the screen representing my guests here, their vocation officers. You contact them and then you'll be directed on what to do. I would like to recommend Friars Valley Water. It is a new bottling water located in Cape Coast. It is manufactured in a hygienic environment and it is FDA approved. It is prepared by the Franciscan Friars. So in case you want to patronize this product, call them on 0550 492 316. 0550 492 316. Contact them and then they would serve you better. If you test this water, please go for it, drink, and then you call me to testify. I don't want to tell you plenty things. So this is Cafdil TV, and it is Religious Vocation Digest. We were live on Cafdil TV. You can also watch a recap of this on YouTube, Cafdil Edu, Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast. Now my question is, what are your thoughts? What are your topics of interest that you would want us to talk about or discuss in our next meeting? Send this to any of our social media handles. You can also WhatsApp us, and then we will get your messages. Enjoy the rest of your day.
As I kneel before you, and I see your smiling face, every thought, every word is lost in your embrace. Ave
She was taken up into heaven, body and soul, to be the queen over all things. Welcome to Cafdil TV viewers. We are happy to come into your home this evening on this special day of solemnity of Assumption of Blessed Virgin Mary. We feature for you St. Mark Parish Choir from Ewutu Breku. Don't forget to join us on our social media handles on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Facebook is Cafdil Cape Coast and YouTube is Cafdil EDU. The choir now sings for us, Daily, daily, sing to Mary, daughter of the mighty Father. Hail, Queen of Heaven. And then, oh, praise my soul, the Lord. Stay with us.